Hey everybody, welcome back to Political Soul Food. It's Tuesday's Toxic Trump Report. I'm really excited to be here with all of you and get on to business. I've been out for about, how long has it been? Maybe 2 weeks, yeah, because as I said yesterday, I was out of town for a little bit, and then when I got back, I had to rest up. This was a little crazy. But it's all good now because yesterday was a really good talk. We talked about, what was it that we were talking about? Oh yeah, I was given some notes from a book called Brown is the New White, a book that I highly recommend. And what I'm going to do is for the next few Mondays, I'm going to summarize the chapters in that book. So we left off with chapter 7, which was Invest Wisely. And what I wanted to do is share some of the major points that are relevant to what we're dealing with today in our political society. And that is getting ready for the 2020 elections. And so that chapter offered a lot of good advice for those who are on the left, liberals, progressives, Democrats, however you want to label yourself, if at all. And I was just trying to give some pointers to our strengths and also give us some roadblocks so that we don't fall into sinkholes and, go into a dead end road. We don't want to repeat 2016. So we want to learn from 2016. We also want to learn from the 2010 and the 2014 midterm elections. So that's what that was all about. Today, as you know, until Trump is impeached, imprisoned, out of office, I'm dedicating Tuesdays to the Toxic Trump Report to remind us that we have a mission. I do not want us to get complacent. It can happen because we can get tired. And also, as Trump repeats lies and lies and lies and lies over and over and over, it might hypnotize us and we might fall prey. So that's why I do the Toxic Trump Report. So it's not just to come on here and throw shade on Trump. Nah, this is very serious business, my friends. This is very, very serious business. In fact, I want to make that case tonight. Tonight's topic is Trump's political endgame. Believe it or not, there is a political endgame. Now, on the surface, people who critique Trump are looking at the corruption, economic gain. Yes, that is there. That is there, my friends. However, there's a political endgame. And I want to discuss this tonight so that you can discuss it further with your friends, with your community, and you'll be prepared to get out there and vote, among other things. Now, the political endgame, in fact, is to solidify a fascist American society and to rejuvenate racism, American racism. That is what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. And what you will see is Trump's minions excusing his behavior while they are, in fact, enacting and acting out that behavior. So basically, you look at the key supporters. All right, you have those on the periphery of Trump. Maybe I'll give him a little credit, but let's just pretend I'm gonna be a Mr. Nice Guy. For those who voted for Trump and who really believe that he wasn't a proponent for racism, his core voters, the voters who pledge allegiance to him and to what he stands for, and he stands for making America great again, which is a euphemism for making America white again. On those grounds, looking at the people standing and supporting Trump at the polls and his campaign rallies, we can get a gist of his political endgame. That is what's going on. All right. So let's pretend Trump is oblivious. He's just this great guy. He really just want to make America a great place. Look at who is unlocked from the dungeons of history that the civil rights movement fought hard for us to get behind and to overcome. Okay, so this is what's going on. I'm going to shout out. We got some people here on IG. We got my boy Samuel. We got my boy Rashad. What's good? What's good? You said Avengers. I'm not sure what you mean. Let me know. So what the point is that there is an agenda, and Trump has Avengers carrying out the agenda, and he has them, which is most important and most deadly, out and about. We're talking about American citizens, voters, the everyday people. That's really where the battleground is, my friends. All right. It's not just at top. You know, there was an article that I responded to on Twitter that was saying something about Trump weaponizing white America. That's backwards. White America weaponized Trump. Okay. And every agenda that Trump is carrying out has been in the playbook. Okay. War, get rid of civil rights acts and legislation, all that stuff that Dr. King fought for, all that stuff that Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey looked for. Get that stuff out of here. In every way, get all of that stuff out of here. Get the immigrants out of here. Okay, let's reestablish hereditary inequality and put that along the lines of a racist framework. This is what's happening. Okay, this is what's happening. So what do? Well, first we have to acknowledge that. If you don't acknowledge that reality, I have no idea what you're going to do or what you can possibly do if you don't want to accept that reality. Some people don't want to accept that reality. In fact, going beyond that, some people want that reality. Yes. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. People who had voted for Trump wanted to create that reality. You know, I've met some, excuse me for saying it, some nice racists. And I've witnessed some nice racists who just admitted saying, well, you know, the thing about America is that it really has changed. And it's not that I think all people are bad, non-white people are bad, but it's just not the way my America used to be. It just looks and feels so different. You see all these, you know, you got a lot more black people doing things and Latinos and all these other kinds of Americans. It's just, I don't know, I just feel a little uncomfortable. And people are very nice. I mean, I understand what it means to be uncomfortable. When I get into a train and it's super crowded and people rubbing up against me or somebody's too loud, you know, even when I see the kids dancing, you know, on the MTA trains and they kicking, swinging around like Spider-Man, I'm a little uncomfortable because, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of weird to me. I just want to chill and read my book or something. I know what it means to be uncomfortable. But the key here is what a person's uncomfortable about. You're uncomfortable because of people who may be of a different race? What are you saying about that race, about that group of people? What generalization triggers you to be uncomfortable around any member of that group or to enact a policy that targets that group as a whole? What's going on? And this is where we start seeing the threads of racism, my friends, right? This is how it happens. So even among the most, you know, amicable American citizens who have a problem with diversity, we can see that uncomfortability as a form of embedded racism because it is trying to warn a person about a status quo that used to be, that should be, and that they want back right now. That's the key here. So the political end game is to bring back that kind of society, my friends. That's the political end game. That's Trump's political end game. That is Trump's political end game. Why? Because it is his constituents' end game. He is symbolic representation. Of course, we have checks and balances, which he's bobbing and weaving. Okay. However, even with those checks and balances in place, what we have to recognize is the direction that he's trying to drive the country in, breaking through those checks and balances. So, hey, I got nothing wrong. I grew up Christian with my mom. I got nothing wrong with Christians wanting to say, you know, God, you know, this is God's country. We got that. But on the books And even you, out of your mouth, you say that there's a separation of church and state. When you begin to condemn people or frame the rules around your religion, we got an issue. That's a hypocrisy, Malcolm X reminded us. We got an issue. So I go back to King, who said, yo, why all we want you to do is to be true to what you said on paper. That's all we saying. Be true to what you said on paper. Don't come pointing the finger at other people for corrupting the society when the corruption was started by you, who created this society in a sense. If you want to put it like that, I give you that. So that's an issue. That is an issue here, my friends. So again, Trump's political endgame is a racist, fascist, authoritarian society. Now, I have the responsibility of making my case to you. I submit some things to think about, and it's up to you. It's up to you. Well, what about the racism part? Well, we see the racism part in the way that Trump frames other groups of people, and in the way that he allows constituents of his to frame other groups of people as others and not as Americans. All right. Now, a lot of people want to say, oh, he just slipped up. Well, when you slip up consistently on the same kind of framework, on the same kind of phrases, you just letting us know that's your style. That's how you get down. That's all you're doing. So when he talks about Mexicans being rapists and drug dealers. Now, truth be told, you got rapists, you got drug dealers in every community. And if you want to talk about the facts and the details, okay, more Americans do more damage to Americans than immigrants. If we really, really want to get down like a doctor would say, okay, we got a lot of problems, but this is where the heart attack is right here, bro. All right. So we're not even going to go there. I ain't going to try to play the blame game now. What I'm trying to do is do the frame game and let you know how Trump frames groups of people. So, and how America frames groups of people. And catch me when I make that mistake sometimes. I just do it when I talk because people like to say Trump, Trump, Trump. But it's really white American. The white racist America. And let me just explain myself on that. Because I can hear the backlash that, wait a minute, you trying to say all whites are racist? No, nobody's saying that. What I am saying is this. No Democratic president since the civil rights movement won the white vote. The majority of whites always vote Republican. The majority of whites have voted to strike down civil rights acts, civil rights, human rights. They've been anti-minorities, okay, anti-integration. That is a fact. I'll wait right here for somebody to show me which Democratic president since Lyndon Johnson won the white vote. So what we say is, obviously, we have a certain amount of whites who are like, yo, listen, it's time for us to grow up. We want to live up to the principles of the Declaration of Independence. And even those on the Democratic Party are hypocritical in many ways. But that's all right. Because they're not on the whole going against me, even though they may have issues. I'm talking about a group of people who team up with others to go in on a society that's supposed to be just in the first place. So when I say white America, I'm talking about the majority of white voters who consistently vote against whichever party black people are in as a whole. If you look at history, when black people voted for the Republican Party, whites is in the Democratic Party. When blacks is like, all right, you know what? We're going to get down with y'all. Whites said, no, they ran over to the Republican Party. We gave the Republican Party a shot, yo. Y'all left us. We started, y'all left us. We started with y'all. Y'all left us. So when I'm talking to white America, again, I'm not saying every white American is racist. I'm just looking at the facts. I'm looking at the sociological demographic facts. So that's that. Y'all keep that because you're going to get some petty responses. Like, oh, you know, why don't people say white America? Well, we're talking about the aggregate. Okay. So now, if you look at the rhetoric, Trump also, he has this false equivalency between people who are fighting against neo-Nazis and KKK, right? And the KKK neo-Nazis who are fighting against people who want diversity. And you remember that incident when Trump was like, oh, they're good people on both sides. Wait a minute, you're going to sit here and say that they're good people on on the neo-Nazi side and the KKK side after they mowed down a woman? Yo, bro. If you don't see it, I don't know what to say. Sister, if you don't see it, I don't know what to say. All right. So, these are some instances. We already have anecdotes from his own squad that are like, yo, listen, this is how Trump gets down. This is how he thinks about black people. And you know what the nice response that happens that people give? And sometimes even black folks who are pushing for Trump, they're like, well, what happened? Rappers and everybody were cool with Trump. And you had, let's say Oprah Winfrey or other Democrats, getting down with Trump. Listen, this is a murky business. We know how it is. Don't act like you don't give people pounds. You ain't really cool with, but you're doing what you got to do to get ahead. You're doing what you got to do to keep things cool. Don't act like you don't have a peer or colleague on your job that you're like, good morning, hey, going to this party, talking. Y'all might even exchange favors for each other, but you ain't really cool. Or you don't have a boss or somebody that you just kind of rub shoulders with. At least you're faking the funk because you know that they're at a certain power status and you're trying to get from point A to point B. So we have young African Americans who are trying to play this American game to get ahead, and they know it's unfair. They look at the icons of the people who cheated and got ahead, who manifest that power. Now, it's not the greatest thing to do. It's not the best example, but that's what happened. All right. And that shows you how deeply racism is ingrained in society, that we even have to rub shoulders with racists and just overlook them to get ahead or just to live a basic life. But when that person gets into a particular position that they can now really undermine us and are showing that they have an intent to do so, of course we're going to flip the script and be like, yo, nah, we can't go down like that. I always say people of color, African Americans, Latino Americans, they are the moral compass. You got to see where they are. If they are on this side, on the right side, you go to the right. You're on the left side, you go to the left. Because we're talking about people who have endured oppression in so many ways, who are trying to just get a better scenario for themselves. And if they are moving away from somebody, or if they're frustrated with somebody, then you know that these people have found out that somebody ain't doing right. Anyway, back to the racism. So you can look for yourself. I don't have to give the whole litany of, I don't have to give you an itemized list on how Trump is racist. Okay. He's just racist. That's that. And you can just find it out for yourself. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit on a low, because the good news, there's good news after this. After all the sacrifice of blood, sweat, and tears, we've managed to make blatant racist epithets some shameful or embarrassing to do. That's the only reason why it's not done. Just 40, 50 years ago, it was okay for any politician to say the word nigger. Right? It's a big thing now. So in a sense, that's some kind of progress, if you allow me to say. But even still, it's in people's hearts and minds. And if they can't say it out loud, particularly politicians, they're going to do the dog whistle politics, the wink, wink, and imply it in so many ways. So you have to look at the implications, okay, or the implicit rhetoric, like handouts. We don't want to give handouts. All right, listen, all of government social programs were enacted when America was at the height of its racist self. Before African Americans, Latino Americans can even get a slice of that pie. So how is it now that these government social programs are now handouts? Well, they have in mind, they're going to the wrong people. We're giving them to people that we don't want to have. All right. So that's sort of like the dog whistle politics. So when you hear people start talking about, welfare and SNAP as a problem weighing on our society or Social Security, no, they're just saying that it's a problem now because everybody who's getting a slice of that ain't really white. So that's it. All right. Next thing is fascist. How do we know it's fascist, right? Well, look at how Trump evades the checks and balances. Look at how he punishes people who don't abide by his word 200%. Look at how he lies, right? And create false realities. Okay. Here's a silly one. Just start with the silly one, right? Should be harmless. So when he said that he had more people to attend his inauguration than Obama, and the picture proved that true, and he still says it, right? And now you have Trump supporters who still believe that. Or the whole idea of fake news, any news platform that critiques him, oh, he got a problem with that. They're fake news. And now he has a whole following saying that's fake news. Okay. And not to mention that when he and some of his other minions, his chieftains, say stuff like, people should get punished for going against me. Or what's that guy? Milo says something about, it'd be funny or interesting if like journalists got shot and people got killed. When you have Trump's political opponents receiving pipe bombs in the mail on behalf of Trump, when you got people killing others and saying, yo, I'm proud of Trump. Okay, yeah, I'm not saying Trump called them up, so you listen, go do your thing. But when you got people doing things and looking up to you and you ain't coming out like, yo, listen, I don't want nobody doing nothing like this for me ever again. When you're not repudiating it, when you're like, well, mental health. And at the same time, like, get rid of the mental health policies that Obama implanted. Listen, that's the fascist. So what he's doing it, America's a little tricky, right? America in the 20th century is very different from Germany in the early 19th century, where Nazism and fascism was able to get in. Because it was already used to certain strong, singular, concentration of power in people. America is a little different. But the Republicans, neo-Nazis, and KKK, they're coming at it in a very interesting guerrilla warfare way. Okay? They're protecting Trump. They need him there. And all he has to do is give the cues, but do it in such a way where he doesn't catch too much slack, where, he has to be impeached immediately. Now, he's going to bend the rules as much as he can, and he has a protection. He has a guard around him that allow him to bend those rules. Republicans are defending him like crazy, right? So like the Mueller report basically didn't exonerate Trump at all. And he says it exonerated him, and it does not exonerate him. It says it does not exonerate him. In fact, it's just basically telling us that here are these suspicions. We have evidence of these suspicions. However, we just couldn't get the smoking gun. It doesn't say, well, there's nothing to be suspicious about. We don't really see anything. So we don't even know why we have to do this report. It doesn't say that at all. Okay? It actually is an indictment. In fact, the report tells us that one of the main reasons that they didn't indict Trump because you don't really indict a sitting president. And that's the good news. The Dems, like Nancy Pelosi and them, they're actually carrying on these investigations. Trump can really end up in jail. We'll say that for a whole nother talk. But he says the report exonerated him. And now if you talk to any Trump supporter, they're not afraid. They're going to be like, oh, snap. Yes, our boy Trump is good. Ain't nothing happened. Remember he said Russia didn't do anything. He believed Putin over his own intelligence community. Well, the Mueller report, the report that he says exonerated him, says, hey, Russia poses a clear and present danger to our democracy. And they are preparing to do it again. In fact, they did a test run in 2018 and they loading up to rock and roll in 2020. But among his reporters and among the right-wing news media, Trump is innocent. He didn't do anything. He don't have to show his tax returns or nothing. Everything is just, Anything against Trump is treasonous. That's where we are right now, my friends. Yep. Okay, so that's the fascist element there. And that translates into the authoritarian because it's all centered around him. And he's been playing games. He's been playing games in a way that he's testing how far he can go, because he's already suggesting playing games, right? Wink, wink. You know, the Mueller investigation took like 2 years of my presidency. I should get that back. You know, it'd be interesting if I can serve a little bit more time. Obviously, if I were to lose in 2020, you know, it's not really because I lost. Dems cheated. He's already throwing it out there. Maybe he's throwing jokes in his talks like, you know, maybe we should revisit the Constitution and see if I can run another term. It sounds... I'm not one for conspiracy theories at all. I enjoy debunking what might be a conspiracy theory. This is real. These books I got behind me, I would rather read these books than have to talk about Trump. Studying the history of World War I and World War II, what happened in Italy and Mussolini and other fascist and state-censored totalitarian authoritarian governments. It's real. It's real, y'all. It's real. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. The political endgame for Trump is to firmly establish a racist, fascist American society. People are dying left and right by individuals who identify with Trump, who say they identify with Trump across the globe, from New Zealand to the United States. And it's not just happening here. These right-wing uprisings are happening all across the world, particularly in Europe. Again, the world is diversifying, and colonization is now backfiring on the Western world, because you colonize, you think you can hold people back for too long? Nah. Even here in America, I mean, we look at Latin America, they're stepping up. Puerto Ricans are like, yo, hold on. Republicans, we tried to give y'all a chance, and this is how y'all going to do us? Nah. Nah, we're not going to just be some country you keep at a distance. We're gonna become a full state now. That might be some more governors and some more senators in the House of Representatives now who ain't gonna be so happy. Okay, so that's sort of the backfiring of colonization, because they couldn't keep people down. They couldn't keep African Americans down. We pushing, and after we got the first black president, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Kobe's coming. LeBron is coming. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. So right now, it is the best time for white America to push for a racist and fascist society. This is the best time for them. It's probably, I won't say the only time, but it's one of the best times now, given what's happening, what's changing demographically, and that white America is now, in terms of electoral politics, is in the minority by a slim margin. Because at minimum, we get about 39% of the white vote. Okay. And on a good election, we'll probably get into the 40s, maybe mid 40s on a good day. On a good day in our presidential elections. On a good day, we get that much. But really, we average around 40%. All right, white America ain't playing with us. And then you have, Protestant Christians who vote for Republicans and Trump, like upper 80% and higher. So, evangelical Christians are like, listen, we want our version of Christianity. Get them Catholics out of here. Get those other denominations out of here. Get the Sikhs out of here, the Muslims out of here, the Buddhists out of here. No. Okay. In fact, they're going as far as to say, if let me just add another element. Maybe I should even add it. I said racist, fascist regime, or Christian, I should say a Christian regime, Protestant Christian regime. Because there are attempts to attach Moses to American history by saying that he's like an honorary founding father. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. But if we're not aware, they can sneak it up on us because they're going to be teaching this to kids. And so we're going to have another generation who are just bred and trained to be racist and bigoted. All right? So this is something to think about. This is some political soul food for y'all to really think about, my dear friends. Please. This is not just hype. This is serious business. I'm telling y'all, this is serious. I need y'all to think about this and do something. What should you be doing? Well, first of all, you need to debunk people who come up with nonsense. Don't let propaganda saturate the public discourse. Now, if you're in a job, I know there's not much you can do, but if you're in a conversation, I understand. But if you're seeing somebody being persuaded, you need to at least say something. You got to have the audacity to speak truth in your way, in your pleasant way. Do not let propaganda saturate. No, you cannot. So that on social media, don't try to act like you can just live your life individually and then you can surf all this. You ain't surfing all this. You may think you are, but when ish hit the fan, my friends, you're going to get blown away too. Yeah. Serious. So we gotta debunk Trump's propaganda on social media, and we have to unite and vote against Trump and the Republican Party. Now I know everybody's getting ready. They got their starting lineup for the next president of the United States for the Democratic Party. You know, right now, I'm very much in support of Kamala Harris. You might like Bernie. You might like Pete Buttigieg. You might like Elizabeth Warren. Beto O'Rourke. Biden. I support Biden. I got Biden's back if he get up there. Although I wouldn't mind a Biden-Harris or Harris-Biden kind of mix. Get Bernie in there. All right. But don't not get somebody. I'm like, if I don't get Kamala Harris up there, and let's say Elizabeth Warren get in there, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not voting. Or I'm voting for some group that's not going to even impact the elections. No. Don't get silly on me. Or on yourself, really. It's about you. It's about you. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. We have to accept that there's some people. This is really sad for me, and I had to just call it out there. But some people are cool with a Trump presidency. Some progressives are really cool. They like, I didn't get my favorite pick, so I'll vote for Trump. Because they can get by on the racism, they'll fall in line. They'll fall in line, right? And so that's sort of that white privilege kind of functioning. And there are people who are mistaken, who are not white, who feel like they can somehow get an honorary membership in the white club, and actually you can as long as you're obedient. So let's see here. Somebody said, focus on a Democratic president. Absolutely. Let's win the war, and then we can squabble over the spoils. You know what I'm saying? And somebody said somebody was hoping for a Biden-Obama ticket. That would have been interesting, right? Having Biden as vice president. I mean, that would be a nice slap in the face to them. That would be crazy. Like a Michelle Obama, Barack Obama ticket. Yo, they would be like, what? Not again. But, that's dreams. Who knows? But I don't think that's happening right now, at least. But that would be a nightmare. That would be a nightmare. I also wonder, I know this is controversial for people on the left, but like the biggest smack in the face would be for Hillary. I know some people got problems with Hillary, but can you imagine Hillary coming back and winning after, she everything she said about Trump's connection with Russia basically has been exposed. She comes back and win. But I know a lot of people on the left are not ready for that, so. One of the things that Obama said that's really dope, I think that's important. He said early on in his political career, he learned that politics is a full contact sport. So if you over here, waiting for people to play politics nicely with you. They don't got no gloves on. Crazy? You know how hard people had to fight? People had to die just to get the kind of society we have right now for people of color. They struggle for that. It wasn't like, sit down and say, listen, I'm sorry for what I did for you. We're going to make up. This ain't your boo. You ain't having a discussion, makeup session with your boo. So sometimes, you have to work with people. King knew how to work with Lyndon Johnson. He held the fort against Lyndon Johnson, but he wrote clearly. So I understand what Lyndon Johnson's up against. And what I have to do, he has to make it crazy so that Lyndon Johnson has an excuse like, yo, listen, y'all, civil rights movement is not lighting up. They about to scorch this place, man. And our country's looking bad. We got to do what we got to do. Okay? So he know good and well who he was dealing with. And he told black voters to get out there and vote. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to it, but come on. Politics is not about doing business. Well, it is about doing business with your friends, depending on who you are. However, when you are teaming up with allies, your allies are not going to always be your best friend. And sometimes you're going to team up with the enemy of your enemy. You're going to be like, all right, listen, we're going to pause on this match. Let's do what we got to do over there. And then we're going to get back at it. Sometimes it's like that. So it is. People saying, oh, I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. You're voting for the lesser of two evils every time you walk this earth or buy food, unless you're a billionaire. All right. Half the time, wherever you live, it's like a place that you can afford and a most reasonable place that you like. It's the best of the options. You probably have a dream house, and that's even for even billionaires. They're probably looking at other billionaires who got a few more billion than them. So it's always an issue. Somebody you want to have fun with, chill with, a significant other. You're always understanding that, it's compromises, is teamwork, and maybe compromise not the best word, but it's understanding, the give and take of the scenarios that we're in, and we make the best choices that we can available to us, and then we keep trying to increase our odds at getting what it is that we want. And politics, that's really what it's more about, because simply put, in this society, to the extent it's democratic, you're dealing with millions and millions of people. There are millions and millions, tens of millions of people on the left. We all ain't gonna like the same thing, the same food, same TV show. And so there are little things that can, come in between us, but it shouldn't stop us from working with each other. We might have to talk about some things and just, we got to agree to disagree on some issues. I think you get my point. Politics is real deal, right? This is adult business. We got to be adults on this matter here. It's the real deal. If you ain't a god, and if you're not a beast, you got to do politics. You're not above it, and you're not so oblivious, and you're not detached from the benefits of living in society that you can just go out there and live on your own and raise a civilization on your own. All right. So you're inherently a political animal. And this is sort of an Aristotelian kind of explanation of why we're political animals. So that's that, folks. Trump's end game to make this place a racist, fascist society. And he has made a lot of steps, not by himself, but with millions of people in this country who got the guts to defend him, who have the audacity to vote for him proudly, and those who are so committed to him that they're willing to kill other human beings to make a point about Trump, that he is their future. People are killing to make that point. And even if Trump disowns them, and let's say he didn't want that, this is what's happening on his behalf. So don't tell me you can't get out there and vote, because he got people who wanted to die for him and kill others for this dream. And they are not beating around the bush when they say white America or white society. No excuses right now. No excuses, people. All right, check you out tomorrow. Listen, if you want to support Political Soul Food, check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/Kassan Henry. There's different ways to support, or check out PayPal. I think paypal.me/Kassan Henry. Any contributions would be dope, because I could dedicate those funds to more resources and get out and about to do my research and everything. So anyway, but most importantly, make sure you do your thing. Make sure you do your thing. Yeah. As Samuel said, put up or be silent. All right. But those silent ones are the killers, man. Those are the ninjas. I know for sure that I know people who are silent and voted for Trump. I know. So watch out for the silent ones. Right? Let me know you voted for Trump so I know where you stand. But, seriously, get out there and do your thing. This is real. Read up on some fascism. Read up a little bit on the Reichs, the Third Reich, Nazi Germany. There's some books out here that can explain a lot of stuff that's going on. This is not, I ain't trying to get ratings by scaring you. I'm not trying to use fear. I'm trying to use enlightenment. I'm trying to use knowledge, facts, history. I'm trying to use the kind of information that you have access to, and you can also inform me of. I don't know everything, but I do know a few things that I want people to be aware of. So that way, if it's not true, you can calm me down a little bit. But it's really about enlightenment. It's about growing. Okay, because there are people who resent how far we've come, and we still got a long way to go. All right. So what I'll be doing on Mondays from now on is summarizing books, like chapters of certain books that I think has useful information, especially when the information can be confirmed. So one book I'm drawing from a lot now is Brown is the New White. It's a really important book because the book establishes that there is a new American majority among eligible voters, and that now the Democratic Party has to rally that particular group, that the Democratic Party needs to say goodbye. I know it's so hard to say goodbye to the white swing voter. I wish I could sing like some Boyz II Men song, but it's time. Got to get strategic right now. All right. And so this book has a lot of great information. There's some facts in here that you really should know because it can refine our arguments. So like a lot of people come at me and say, well, Hillary this, Hillary that. All right, fine. Yeah, you can talk about her flaws, but she won a surplus of approximately 3 million votes. We have gerrymandering that's going crazy, just crippling votes, right? Giving, in some places, Republicans a 12-4 ratio unfairly. And luckily, a lot of Democrats now are tackling these unconstitutionally drawn districts, and we had two amazing successes, and one in Michigan and another in Ohio, right? Within, I think, 2 weeks of each other, and that's really good because the presidential election is right around the corner. And we're talking about places where Trump, Trump wins Michigan by plus 10,000 when there's a surplus of tens of thousands votes out there. Okay, the name of the book is Brown is the New White, by Steve Phillips. And so knowing these facts and these details helps us to not just squander, our money, information, our time, and for example, and it lets us know that if we get out there and vote, we can win. And how we lost the House. We lost the House. When we showed up for the House, about 65 million Democrats showed up in 2010. And no, sorry, in 2008, 65 million. And then we lost about 19 million by 2010. It went to about, how much was it? I think it went from 65. Let me see if I can pull this up because this number, 65 to 39. So we lost 19. 65 to 39. Meanwhile, the Republican voters, oh my goodness, they did their thing. And they just basically outvoted us. And the same thing happened in the Senate in 2014. We had a big turnout, and then when 2014 came up, our turnout was so low. It was a historic low turnout, and the Republicans beat us. The participation in midterms always kind of sink, but for Democrats it sinks a little too low. Like for Republicans, it just sinks a little bit. Because they know they're very consistent. And like I said before, one of the reasons why I think they're very consistent is because they think of America as their birthright. So, a person who feels that they're fighting for their home or for something that they inherited, right, for their heritage, they're going to be on top of their game. And so the problem is that, a lot of minorities, we don't have, a bright history in here. So we have to look to the future, right, and see that this is our home. Our ancestors invested much, and we need to reclaim, in the words of Maxine Waters, reclaim our inheritance. Woo! All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, all right? I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. We got more talk to do. And, let's just do this. Let's do this, all right? Peace and love. Have a great night.